Hey guys, it's Spacer Sims, and we are back with more Virche Evermore. Look, I was gonna say Shua no Virche. It's Virche Evermore. I'm gonna start using the right name. Well, the English title, you know what I mean. Anyway, Virche, you know what it is. You know what we're doing. I never do. This time I do, but usually I start and I'm like, what the hell are we playing? I don't know. But anyway. I turned up the volume a teeny bit in the background music because, like, right now it's very soothing music. It's very nice, very quiet. But, like, when it gets intense, it might be a little more difficult. So it's going to take a little while till we adjust and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah. And I don't ever watch my full part back because I don't want to listen to the sound of my voice. Sorry for you. Like, you know what I mean? So hopefully it's okay. I don't know. But anyway. We're all excited because our first boyfriend, our brother, who's one of our last boyfriends, because we can't do his route first, is gonna show up for dinner. So, yay! I'd say the first time we see a love interest, but that's not really true because I'm pretty sure we saw Eve rescue us from the fire when we were younger. And I'm pretty sure, I'm gonna guess then maybe he was the one, like, that showed up after we stabbed ourselves in the throat. I don't know. But anyway. We'll find that out too, but... Did you hear how we captured a group of thieves running rampant in North Coen? I'm gonna go with Coen, I guess. Coen doesn't sound as good as Coen. So I thought the three of us could enjoy a private celebration over dinner. Okay, that wasn't the best part to stop, because we were in the middle of talking about him, we saw him, and then we came back here, but whatever. Do you feel more motivated to prepare the dinner for us now? Yes, if that's the case. Then I'll make Adolphe's favorite stew. Suddenly a thought came to mind. But before that, Mother, has Adolphe mentioned anything about his health? I really, in my brain, read that as death, and I was like, wait, and I was like, no, it says health, girl. Listen, either way. Huh? Because of the curse. I know he's strong and probably doing fine, but I'm still worried. Not long ago, another man the same age as Adolphe collapsed. I see. Don't you worry. I've asked the other members of the Corps, and they say he's in perfect health. How they know? He's so healthy that they haven't heard as much as a cough from him before. I see. That's good to hear. Now then, can I take it that you're up to the task today? Absolutely. Should I clean first? Or tidy up the place? Or maybe calculate this month's expenses? Should I clean or tidy? Cleaning and tidying are basically the same thing. I feel like cleaning's a little more intense, but, like, tidying is still cleaning. Just, You just said the same thing twice. You really like to clean, don't you? I'm glad the game called that out. I have a different request. I'd like to ask you to pick up some groceries at the Marché for tomorrow. As well as deliver another letter to... Oh, I cannot pronounce that. Cernaval? Is it Cernaval? It's not Viol. Vol? Cernaval? I'm going to go with Cernaval. Okay, I have no idea. But I'm going with that. All right, listen. There's going to be some... We go struggle through this. I'm going to do the best I can and at least... Listen, there's an attempt being made. But you can't put, Italian, French, any kind of European name or thing in here. I'm not going to do. I can do better with the Japanese names. And I'm not saying I'm good at those. I can just do better. But, the French or Italian things that you try to put in here, I'm like, bitch, I can't. So, there's, I feel like, a lot of French in here. I carried with me the shopping list and the letter given to me by Mother. My first destination was one of the marketplaces in Coen that we called a marsh. Marché. Did I say is it marsh? Or is it marché? I feel like with the accent, you have to say marché instead of marsh. Listen, again, we doing the best. But see, right now is what I'm talking about. This music is, so intense. Is it just me? Okay, I'm going to pause for a second because I want to see. Because to me, this sounds really, deafening in my ear, but it's also my headset and my computer, so it might sound perfectly fine to you, but, I just don't want it to be redonkulous. So let me check, because this is getting like, this I feel is like when the music gets really intense. Like, it's nice. Don't get me wrong. Got a good soundtrack so far. Like, this is like really pretty piano music. Listen, I love Pio Fiore's like soundtrack, and I'm really sad I never got the CD with it. But like, even when they have them, you're like, I'm not gonna buy it unless I hear it. I gotta play the game first, and then by then it's like too late. So, anyway, let me just check and see, because see if this is too loud, like drowning me out. Because, like, gotta check the balance. I'll be back. You won't even know I'm gone, to be fair. Okay. I think it's fine. I think it just, I mean, you can definitely hear it. It's not like as quiet as it usually is. But I think for me, it's just because, like, my computer volume's like 50. My headset volume's completely off, but I can still hear it, and it's still very loud in my ears. So I like, so to me, it sounds louder than it does to you. Like, I want to be able to hear it, but not where I'm like, God, that's distracting me type of a thing. So I don't know. We'll have to adjust as we go. But again, if it is too loud, let me know and I'll adjust it later. But again, expect that you're probably going to see like 5-6 parts or so before that happens. Because, like, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure where I am. If I'm like, fuck, I'm only a week ahead where I need to record this. Or like, I got 2-3 weeks. Like, my normal thing is I'm usually recording 4 to 5 weeks in advance. That was my standard. When you saw this, the day you see this, I recorded this a month ago. Usually. Okay? But over the last year, I have got really bad and got really behind, and it was a struggle to finally get to the point where I was like, yes, I'm now like 3 to 4 weeks ahead again, and then Christmas happened, and then I was like, fuck, I'm like 2 days ahead, and then I got behind. So, like, I know this is probably February, as I think. I don't have my book with me where I write down what's going up what days. But yeah, I don't. So I'm like, well, shit. Got to the point where I was like, I don't have enough stuff to. I gotta record fat. Like, so, and we do 2 games at once, so it's not like, Anyway, so, and I think this is okay. So, like, if it's too loud or it's distracting, you guys will let me know. I'll adjust it. Just bear with it until we get to that point. But I think it seems okay. So anyway, it was similar in appearance to the others, but each one varied slightly in terms of stalls and goods offered. Because of the number of orphanages nearby, bread and vegetables were plentiful here. People talking, asking for discounts, women chatting with one another, and... Huh, your stall looks a lot better than before. I remember it being pretty run down. I had 2 Karoon... I'm gonna go with Karoon, not Karune. Anyway, Karoon. Handymen fixed the stand for me. Without them, I would have had to pay a fortune for a new one. Oh, those 2. They're great, aren't they? They were even able to take care of my newborn before. They sure are. Especially that Eve. Oh my god, it's Eve. I asked them to get it fixed in a day, even though it's really a multi-day job. Man, that guy's such a softie that he somehow managed to make it happen. I continued my search through the bustling crowd when... I like how they throw out Eve's name and you're like... Ooh, anyway. Hey, look! The blonde girl from the orphanage! She must be that Reaper girl. Sure of it. I haven't seen her out here in ages. People enjoying their conversations suddenly stopped chatting. I feel like when we go out, we should put on a wig. Or a wig and glasses, giant hat like you famous. Because you are, but not in a good way. Their cold eyes turned toward me. Shut up, you idiot! She's gonna curse you to death if she hears you! If only I had that power. I love the little town, though. I heard she could cut off the air from your lungs and give you a fever to boil your blood, or even vomit up all their insides. I heard she can cut off the air from your lungs and give you a fever to boil your blood, or even vomit it up all their insides. That is a translate. Okay. God damn it, Tim. Take your translation duties seriously, aight? Tim is the person we blame for all the typing issues or the weird things. For anyone who's new, or anyone who needs a refresher. Tim used to work in the art department. It doesn't matter what game company translated or developed these or made these or whatever. It's always Tim. And now he has an understudy, Ronald. And you know what? Tim, don't pass off this shit to Ronald. He's not good at it either. So, that's just for those of you who don't know. We blame Tim for all the Tim is a terrible typist. He makes all the typos. And in that case, what the hell was that? That was like two different tenses of a sentence. But okay, we get what he means, but still. Still. Anyway. That's not all. Remember that fire 7 years ago? She can burn down houses with people still inside. This man is the dumbest person to dumb. She can burn down houses with people still in there. Yeah, I think a lot of people could do that if they're psychopaths. You know what I mean? Like, well, it won't be me. I don't have a spare body ready yet. Okay, that's how it happens. They get spare bodies. How do you get a spare body? Do they clone you? Okay. There's no way I'm going to die for good like some of the others she's killed. I've even heard that some in the orphanage have gotten sick too. I wonder why they still allow her to stay there. All the hushed whispers I could hear were clearly about me. I don't think they were hushed, I think they were screaming it. I looked toward the gossipers, and as they met my eye, they quickly turned away with expressions of disgust and fear. You gotta use this to your advantage. You gotta be like, yeah, I'm gonna just take this lettuce. Or maybe not be that much of a dick. You're like, here, I'll be buying this lettuce. And I don't want to hear any whispers about me. You know what I mean? You just gotta like lean into it. Hello, I'd like to buy some things today. I forced myself to smile and appear unbothered by the situation. The familiar routine didn't make me feel sad at all, just lonely. The mere sight of death shopping for food somehow struck fear into their hearts. They all watched me from afar with the usual suspicion. I need to buy some apples so I can poison the orphans. Just kidding. It was no secret. The soul of death dwelled in my body. My existence spread misfortune to others, often worse than death alone. There were some out there who laughed off the superstitious story at first. But after hearing the details of my life, their laughter eventually subsided into tears. The laughter subsided as they slowly succumbed to not being able to breathe because you killed them. Maybe. After all, most who had become close to me for an extended period of time died an early death brought about by sudden accidents or severe illness, which is why I'm referred to as Death, the Reaper, and other such names. There were two types of curses that I inflicted upon others. One was contracting an incurable illness of unknown origin after becoming close to me. The other was a particular curse that had happened only once before. Oh, God. They really put those shrieks in. The memory of flames returned to mind. The curse harbored inside me brought about that great fire. It was 7 years ago. At the start of my life, I had lost my parents immediately upon birth. Like, damn. Until the age of 11, I moved from one orphanage to another. My curse was evident even then, with many suspicious deaths occurring around me. Sometimes the founder would die, other times it was the children or the facility itself would be destroyed. First, everyone was sympathetic to my plight as an unlucky orphan. But as strange deaths continued to follow me, things slowly began to change. Normally, we'd be like, this kid is a psychopath and is a serial killer. What the shit? So, bro, are you sure you're not stabbing people for fun? Soon, I was regarded as a bad omen and expelled from most places. I like that. Okay, so what I like about this so far, aside from the fact that we're going to be traumatized, is the fact that in most Otome games, you know, the main character is the special. In this case, we're the special, but it's like not a good kind of special. So like, that's a bonus. We're always like, I'm wholesome and wonderful and everyone loves me and I like fucking fart rainbows. And here we're like, I blink at people and they die, so everyone hates me. Like, well, hey, it's different. All right. You know, most games usually actually have happy endings and this one doesn't. So, like, this game is different on its own. But I'm at least glad that the main character isn't like, I will save everyone because I'm wonderful and I'm the special and, like, life lives within me. It's like, nah, I kill people by blinking. I touched that guy and he died. So, we're like a curse. It's kind of cool. It's different. We still special. but for all the wrong reasons. I finally find myself in an orphanage that was well known and held in high esteem, and we burned it down. Not only the adults, but the children were kind to everyone. They gave no heed to the rumors and treated me well, without any hint of fear. That was their first mistake. They consoled me, understanding the grief of loss and loneliness that I had felt all my life. Oh, that makes it so much worse, though. Like, if something happened to this marketplace and it burst into flames, you'd be like, well, that's what you get for talking about me, you assholes. Don't be a dick. Everyone is nice and wonderful and understanding, and they all burned to death. Holy fuck. Jesus, game. Jesus. Before long, I forgot that I was a source of misfortune and began to live a life of peace and harmony with everyone there. Oof. But one day, the happiness I had long sought suddenly crumbled away. It started in the room where I stayed, a room absent of any sources of fire. That is a bright-ass white screen. Out of nowhere, a light sparked through the room, followed by a snapping sound. Suddenly, there was an explosion. I feel like we're being set up with this one. Some motherfucker set us up. The flames that resulted quickly engulfed the facility. The sound effects might be extremely fucking loud. Okay, that started out loud and then it went away. Okay. Because I'm like, the sound effects are loud, but I want you to be able to hear them. All the residents burned to death, except for a young boy visiting the orphanage who managed to save me in the process. The fire had been born from nothing, killing the innocent children without mercy. See, okay, everyone, for all the residents, the young boy visiting, which was Eve, okay, I'm pretty sure. So the young boy he was visiting, he didn't even live here, so everybody that lived here died. So what? You sus, motherfucker. Listen, I'm playing Charade Maniacs in tandem with this one, so everyone's sus as fuck in that, so, like, that's gonna drag over into here, okay? Alright. We're gonna be like, sus! You're all suspicious! I object! So, yeah, you know, why was he visiting? And that's because, like, in the synopsis, it says the Watchman of Death stops us, right, from, like, trying to, like, stab ourselves in the neck. Wasn't it? Under the Watchman's guidance. But I wouldn't have thought that. Honestly, I would have pegged that as being Onko just because he's at the very end. But Eve saved us. But the person who, obviously Eve saving us from the fire as a child, is not the same. It might not be the same person that tried to stop us from stabbing ourselves in the throat. So it could have been two different characters. I don't know. But anyway. Fire had been born from nothing, killing the innocent children without mercy. I think we read that, but anyway. How could it be considered anything but a curse, misfortune, even witchcraft? With each fire and each new death from sickness and disease, I carried another sin upon my back, leading the people to refer to me as Death. Death, 1. The nickname given to the heroine after she was the lone survivor of a terrible fire 7 years ago. Could you imagine just being a child and surviving a terrible fire and then everyone calls you Death? Obviously, it's because of all the other shit that followed her and people were already sus, and this was like the tipping point. But still, she's a child, Jesus. She is known to spread misfortune in the form of mysterious diseases and death to those around her. Again, reading the glossary in Tour Guide Spacey voice while we're playing this game is going to be kind of funny in a very inappropriate way. It didn't take long for everyone to follow suit. From then on, people threw stones at me. Without a place to go or the courage to take my own life, I finally fell into despair. It was then that Adolphe and Mother found me and brought me to the orphanage, where I've stayed to this day. He was one of our rescuers. Him and the hot nun. Feel incredible gratitude toward them both. The backgrounds are really pretty. I like this little town. I mean, the people might be douches, but we're like Belle, where they, like, ridicule me for reading a book, okay? Girls can't read! You know, instead they're like, that girl kills people! You know, but, like, it's this cute little provincial, it's so adorable, this little town. This little European-looking town. I like it. Anyway. I finished my shopping with that thought in mind, making my way out of the marche. The marche? I'm not really sure. There's an accent. I don't know. Anyway. And toward my next stop to deliver the letter. Excuse me. Sorry to bother you folks. My girlfriend just died. Would you mind helping me carry her out? I noticed a man asking for help outside a nearby house. It's funny because nobody's over the age of 23, so nobody should have an older man voice, but whatever. Despite the solemn nature of death, he spoke with a levity in his voice. Oh, come to think of it, she was about to turn 23 soon. She lived quite a long life, didn't she? Oh. Oh dear. Have you already submitted the paperwork to the Institute? Don't forget the gene and memory backup. Alright, we're getting some... Okay, we're getting some explanations here. Nope. Oh, wait. Man A, and Man B are 3 different... Okay, never mind. No problems there. And that's pretty much the reason we've been working to save up, you know? Okay, let's go. I want to bring her body to the Institute as soon as possible. I can't wait for them to clone her already. Okay, so our bodies are clones. That explains it. So, like, Salome could be backing herself up, and then she's got a clone body to put herself in. Okay. So it is like a dollhouse situation, like I was saying. But instead of taking somebody else's body that their, like, personality and brain basically has been removed from, you are like, clone my body, cool, it's in a tank, back my data up, back my brain up, and then, like, put my brain in the cool. So, like, alright, Joss Whedon was onto some shit with that show. Like, the people quickly got to work, familiar with what was a common routine to them. And again, it's one of those things that you pay for, so, like, you have to save up to do it, so if you you ain't doing it, you got money, you probably got, like, 3 clone bodies. Well, and if you think about it, so you get a clone body, and then you put your brain into the clone body, how long does that clone body live? You have to get another clone body? Like, or do you just, like, Salome died when she was 23 but had a clone body. Okay, you put her memory in there, and now this clone body's been alive for, like, 70 years? Or is it, like, every so many years you have to get a new clone body? Well, your clone body's 23 now, which would make you 46, so then you gotta get a new one? Your clone bodies only last for 23 years, too? So, like, you grow up from a baby, infant, toddler, like, whatever. You grow up to an adult, you die at 23, you get a clone body that's basically 23, and that one lasts for 23 more years? And then you gotta do a new clone? We'll find out, but I'm just throwing out these things, right? A few minutes later, the body of the woman was carried away on a makeshift stretcher in a somewhat careless manner. Her face was left uncovered, and it felt strange to see them carry her away like a bundle of bones. Well, yeah, they're just doing it so, yeah, whatever, it's just her body, we'll get a new one. Yikes. I suppose the way everyone treats the dead differs. It was particularly surprising. Both the casual reporting of the death as well as the way they carried away the body, because if you think about it, in our world, where we live now, someone dies and it's tragic, even if they were sick or ill or they were old and you knew it was coming, it's still a tragic event. You know what I mean? You're still sad and upset. In this way, you're like, alright, let's go, let's take her to the factory so we can get a new one, because you have a clone body. So the only people who would be really sad would be the people who didn't have a clone body. Or family members of people who didn't. You know what I mean? She's got a body that's cloned, so he's going to bring her back, and then she's going to be back in, like, 2 days and be like, what's up, Samantha? Like, you know? So, like, of course he's going to, like, not think, because it's not really death. This body's dead, but she got cloned. So is she really dead? I mean, they're basically, in their minds, no. She's not dead. She might have, maybe the last time she backed herself up was 2 weeks ago, so, like, she can forget the last 2 weeks, but whatevs. We can work around that. I mean, I don't know, again, how the memory upload or download or whatever works. Maybe they steal it from your body and transfer it in, and then you're like, oh my god! My first thing when I woke up in my clone body was the memory of my death. That's fucked up. I mean, you don't know. And technically, we stabbed ourselves in the neck. This could be a clone body. We don't know. We could already be a clone of ourselves. We could have died like 6 times over. Do we know? And can you clone children's bodies? What if you had a child and you're like, I'm going to get Timmy cloned. I know he's only 6, but that's fine. And then now he's 10. Okay, we get him cloned again. Like, what? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? How does this work? Again, we'll get more information, but I'm just throwing it out there. Like, but anyway. So the casual reporting of death and the way they carried away the body is because, like, yeah, well, she's not really gone. She's backed up. So, like, You know, the process was considered normal here. I continued on my way to deliver Mother's letter, walking in the same direction as the body that was disappearing into the distance. A thought came to mind. That man's girlfriend died just before she turned 23 years old. That's incredible. It's quite a feat to live that long. Okay. I know this is like a serious topic here, but it's just so funny when like, wow, she lived to the ripe old age of 23. Shit. Jesus. Jesus! Like, I think it's funny for me because, like, I do see people like, oh my god, I'm 25, I'm so old. Back in my day, we didn't have a crisis till you hit 30, kids. But you know what I mean? I feel like younger and younger people are having these, like, freaking identity crises and these existential crises about their age, and it's just kind of funny when you get to this game is like, 23 is old. Like, oh shit. Like, as if poor people who are, like, 23, 24, 25 need to have a crisis of age yet. Stop it! Stop making it worse! You don't need 10-year-olds out there using retinol cream and shit. Like, seriously, simmer down, guys. Like, freak out when you're over 30. Like normal people, alright? I did not have a freak out at turning 30, by the way. I'm currently having my existential crisis that's been going on for like 4 fucking years, but I didn't have when I turned 30. Anyway, it's quite a feat to live to 23. Jesus. Maybe she was as healthy and strong as Adolphe. Okay, so... Oh, okay, cool. Other. So now we're somebody else. That's what I was wondering in the last part if they were going to do that. So this must be our country. It's a round island. That seems pretty man-made. I don't know who we are, so I'm just going to read it normal because we're just question marks still. But the fact that it's round, this seems like bullshit. This is man-made. This is like this did not happen in nature. Perfectly round island would have a little bit of something going. Curves, sure, but like, come on. Come on! Anyway. The small country of Arpel is surrounded by the sea and fields of black licorice. Licorice, not licorice. Ugh. Oh yeah, you can see them all on the edge, the black flowers. This to me feels like we were in a science experiment. The aliens put this down and then put the flowers so that we won't jump into the ocean and find fucking someplace else to live where we don't die at 23. I expect to have a fucking Stephen King-esque dome around this motherfucker, okay? That we can't see right now. Those born here are said to live under the dreaded curse of death, who's ruled over the land since ancient times. The longest that one can live is 23 years. First, the curse slowly ate away at one's lungs. Those of frail constitution usually had symptoms arise in early youth. See, this more sounds like the licorice or whatever, the flowers are killing us. Something is killing us, and that's why we die. It has nothing to do with any, like, we're gonna find out some weird sciencey shit, you know? Pseudoscience. Once the person reached 20 years of age, an unsettling fatigue and breathing difficulties set in, and yeah, unsettling fatigue, I have that. When they reach 22, they succumb to various ailments, exhibiting more severe symptoms of their aging. Should a person somehow survive until 23 years old, they were on the brink of death, unable to even get out of bed. None made it to their next year, and they all met their end by vomiting blood and suffocating to death. I want to be that first person that turns 24 in this world, like, fuck you, I'm out! And then you peace out. Do you imagine you're like one day away from your 24th birthday and then you die and you're like, son of a bitch! So close! All who live face a twisted death. Curse of death 1. An unfortunate state that keeps the people of Arpel from living past 23 years old. The mysterious curse is said to have been originated by death in ancient times. It's got something to do with these fucking flowers and science experiments and like, I don't know, who knows? We'll see. It was to this country that a soul drifted ashore from a faraway land. This soul, a young man known as the Drifter, blessed the people with knowledge, declaring that Drifter, a man who came to Arpel from another country, his real name is unknown and is simply referred to as the Drifter. You think he's one of our love interests? Anyway, declaring that this country is a land possessed by death. I don't know who the Drifter is, so I'm just giving him a voice. Arpel, A small country surrounded by the ocean and black licorices. Those born in this country can only live up to 23 years due to the curse of death. What's that movie? Is it The Island? Where, like, you're living your life and you don't realize that you're actually just a clone of somebody that's, like, flitting around in New York City and they're like, oh, I'm getting sick. Go pick my clone up. And then you're like, whoa, 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 what do you mean? And then they download their brain into you. So, like, we're cloning ourselves, but we're actually clones of someone else. That's the only reason. And our, like, bodies only last 23 years because we're not real people. Are we real? Are we androids? What's going on? Who knows? Indeed. This is Mathis. Yeah, okay. So are we the person talking to Mathis? Or is Mathis talking to us right now? I'm assuming we're the narrator person, whoever the character is that we don't know. We're just others. So that's what the lore says. You've heard all the stories, haven't you? Again, I'm not sure. According to rumors, a certain woman lives in the commoner's district of Coen. For some reason, she's said to be the harbinger of death, or even death herself. I'm waiting to see like when his mouth moves, but I don't know if his mouth moves at all. I don't know if the sprite's mouths move. I didn't notice. This woman is feared by many, you see, and that's because... Huh. Say, are you listening? Wait, is Mathis the one talking? And then this is the other, like... Okay, I'm going to assume the narrator, the person who was talking, is Mathis. So we'll do the voice for him. And then this is... I forget which side character you are. When I went in and I was, like, looking, you could see some of the side character names. Are you Jean? Is this Jean? Is this one of the other ones? He's goddamn fucking gorgeous. Like, listen, Mathis is adorable. I dig the outfit. You're kind of pretty and adorable, but, like, this bitch on the left here, fuck that. Come on. Also, Butler. I don't know the voice to give him. Yes, I am listening, Master. Master, I see you're quite fond of old legends and other such tales. If I may, I'd like to see you interested in your correspondence courses rather than the stories and history books. Oh, well, I can take care of those tomorrow. If we were to judge by history, nothing is more unreliable than what you just stated. I'm quite certain this is true based on my relationship with a certain someone. I'm not sure which one's going back and forth, but... Really? It seems as though you're growing to be just like him. My god, okay, I can't with this game. Listen, this game is going to be dark as fuck and heavy, but, like, why are the characters beautiful? Like, Jesus Christ, stop it! You are hot, sir. Look at this! It's the suit, too. Okay, suits do it for me, too. Glasses and suits, alright? But, like, I'm assuming we're still not Master Guy, not Mathis. Anyway, now then, might I ask why you brought up that old story? I doubt this is so, Master, but... Please don't tell me your interest in fantasy has roused your curiosity in finding this woman known as Death. No, of course not. I was simply making idle conversation. I have something I must prioritize, even at the cost of my life. You know what I mean, don't you? Well, yes, but... I conducted some preliminary investigation into whether that woman was involved in the incident. But I don't think she was. After all, the circumstances surrounding her differed from that which happened to him. Yes, I see. Certainly. I'm not sure who's who still. I wish they'd be like person A and person B instead of just question mark. Because without the voice acting on, it's difficult, man, anyway. For a woman to commit such a gruesome murder as that, it is rather difficult to picture. Yes, in any case, I feel sorry for her. No matter what others say about her, no doubt she would never have been called Death if she hadn't been born into this country. And again, if history is to be believed, evolved far more as a society than before. So I'm assuming we must have been Mathis that whole time telling the story, but until we get to when they give us names, like it's going to be difficult to know who's who. So it began around 60 years ago. Located at the country's center was the research district. The research district, Cernaval. I'm going to go with Cernaval because that sounds like a research district. That sounds like that sounds sciency. I don't know. Anyway, where a particular technology was employed. Cernaval, the district located at the center of the country. The most advanced district in Arpel, where the National Research Institute is located, and where one of our hot boyfriends is. Altering the concept of life and longevity. God, I can't read today or pronounce words. I can never read, so. Understood. Your correspondence has been officially received. We will deliver it to the researcher whose ID is indicated as the recipient. District was located a ways from Cohen. The people here had heard the rumors about me, but no specific details about who the person was or what they looked like, which was why I was able to hand the letter directly to the guard working at the largest research facility without any issue. Thank you very much. We appreciate your help. We will give this to person 123689. That's what it felt like. I walked away from the gate, then turned back and looked again at the grand structure. Look how pretty this shit is. Like, fuck, yo. And the pretty the flowers in front. Nice. The research facility was closest to the castle where the royal... I can't read that. I don't know what that little accent... I don't know. Anyway, that family, which ruled over Arpel, resided. It's probably Poix instead of Poir. Poix? Revepoix? Revepoix? I don't know. Listen, I don't do French, okay? I feel like this is all Frenchy. So I don't know. I don't know. I had visited this facility a number of times to deliver letters from Mother, but I'd never stepped foot inside. Not even once. Listen. I get it, we're playing Otome games that came from Japan, so like they're gonna have Japanese words in them. I can manage through those, okay? Decently. But it's like, stop! Why are you like, you know what? Let's use Italian or French or what? Please stop. Please stop with it. Like, I get it when we're playing Pio Fiore because we're in Italy and shit. So like, I get we're gonna have Italian in there, okay? But like, this is a made up fucking country and a made up goddamn universe. So like, why you gotta use French shit? Come on. How does anyone who even speaks how are you pronouncing those words? You're like, the fuck is this? You're like the rest of it. We're like, huh? Unless you know French, you're like, I don't even know. And French is weird. Let's be honest. Okay? French has got a lot of extra fucking letters in there that mean nothing. So, like, this is really just my defense mechanism because I have no idea how to pronounce French words. And I'm not going to, like, hold on, pause. Let me go look it up. You know what I mean? Because that's a waste of all of our time. So we just suffer. I never stepped foot inside, not even once. Was this the castle? I thought this was the research facility. Either way, whatever it is pretty. Come to think of it, I wonder who the letter was for. My long-held curiosity finally came out in words. The letters I delivered had something called an ID on them that was assigned to those who worked at the research facility. Based on that, I assumed Mother's friend or acquaintance was a research worker here. It's probably Cyan. I'm still surprised that she knows someone at the Institute. Is Mother some kind of prominent figure by chance? Or perhaps she used to work here herself? I then noticed a number of people exiting the facility. Isn't that... Thank you very much for your help. This is the first time I've used a cloned body, but it's much more comfortable than I expected. Okay. I mean, to be fair, I guess I don't know what a cloned body feels like, but it's much more comfortable being in this cloned body than I expect. How? What? Now I'm just... Were you expecting it to not be comfortable? I guess because if you think about it, I'm used to my body. And if your brain all of a sudden woke up in a different body, it would feel awkward and strange. But this is it's cloned off of you. So shouldn't it feel like you? Or would it still be like, it's me, but it also feels a little squicky and new? My other one was kind of worn in, and this one's like a little stiff and tense, and I gotta like work the kinks. You know what I mean? Like, that just brings up a whole bunch of questions that I find slightly uncomfortable in a weird way. You're like, okay, okay. I bet you can't even remember the agony you felt before you died. She nodded joyfully, and I realized she was the person who died back at that house in Coen, I assumed. It's like, is that you? I sure am glad everything went well. Now we can live together again just like before. Yes, I suppose so. I was certain she was the same person, especially after seeing that man from before standing next to her. It didn't take long for her to return. On her arm was a brand new insignia shining brightly, one that she didn't have on her previous body. Based on what I could gather, it seemed that she chose to live the same life for another 23 years before dying from the curse again. Oh, okay, so it's only 23 years, so that explains that question I had. Like, when you get a new clone body, do you get 23 more years, or yes? So then, could you choose to live in a different body? Huh. Oh, right, Cyan's gonna have our flirty whore voice, because I'm pretty sure... Let me go back. Let me scroll down. Because Cyan is described by Atomic Kitten, just her things. Sometimes a god, sometimes Beyonce. Literally a gilf, so I'm assuming he's been around for a while, and that's grandpa I'd like to fuck. So, like, I fucking love that. So, based on the sometimes a god, sometimes Beyonce, I figure we've got a little flair for the dramatic in our voice. So that's what we're going with. Huh. You want me to prepare materials to put together a textbook explaining our technology to children? Of all the things to ask me. And the children will end up learning about it anyway, living in such a damn small country. I'm sorry. Sir, are your pants, like, not even buttoned in the front? What is going on with this? Oh, or is that just a tie? Okay, that's just your tie. You have a black tie on. I'm just looking at him like, why do you have a giant gap in your pants? Okay, it's not. I'm like, sir, button your pants. Okay. Look at you, you glorious bastard. Did they give you a little mole under your eye? All right. Yeah, so that's probably a tie, but then it also looks like there's a belt over. Like, what is going on? What are you wearing? I don't even care. Part of me wants to keep it on, part of me wants to take it off. I don't know, but whatever. You still want me to prepare the materials, so that the children can aspire to become future researchers. Yeah, no, it's just the way his shirt it's just his shirt. It's half untucked. Dude! It's hard to tell black on black, but like, so fucking, what is happening? What are you? I love this. You are literally like, if you look at our left, obviously his right, you've got your jacket on perfectly, you got your sleeve rolled up, but your shirt's perfectly tucked in and it's short hair. And then you go to our right, his left, and it's like, then I got my little ponytail thing going on, like his little rat tail, whatever going on. Your jacket's half off and your shirt's all fucking untucked. Like, what the shit? This is like Impy walking around with like one arm out of his goddamn jumpsuit, and you're like, what kind of fashion choice is this? God damn, I love it. You are unhinged, sir. I feel like everyone in this game is going to be a little unhinged, but like, I love it. I love it so much. Yes. You might be my favorite right now. Listen, actually, from the looks, obviously, Cyan is goddamn fucking gorgeous. I love him. And then Adolphe is pretty fucking hot, too. I know. And like, Mathis, he's too sweet and innocent. He's got the little baby face, so I can't be into it. It's like, you're adorable, and I'm sure your out's great, but like, we can be pals, but I don't want to date you because you look 13, you know? I know he's going to be like, I'm like 23. Yeah, but you look 12. That's all that matters to me, okay? You look too young. Like, Lucas is beautiful, but sometimes it's like, just the images I've seen, it's like, God, you're beautiful. And then other times you're like, maybe not my. I don't know. I don't love him or hate him. I'm like kind of question. We'll get there. We'll see. We'll see what happens when we meet you. Cyan always looks goddamn hot as shit in everything I've seen him in. Eva's also like, you're kind of adorable and sometimes you look sexy and I kind of like you. You look like adorable, but also mysterious because you kind of have a mask on and now we know why. Adolphe's hot, although sometimes he does have the bro dude face, but like we're not giving him that voice. Anko is beautiful but also looks crazy. Because on the card in the game, he literally is giving me like Undertaker vibes from Black Butler. I'm like, you a little nuts. So that's what I'm fully expecting, so. We're gonna give him a slightly a nutter voice, but anyway. So you want all this done just so you can look good? What a waste of time. All of this is an exercise in your own self-satisfaction. And that said, I suppose I can use this as an excuse to take a break, as long as you don't mind the language being appropriately concise. Look at this dramatic pose and the little vials on your hip. Oh my god, I love it. The fucking Sprite poses are great. Like, do these pants make my ass look flat? A little bit, sweetie. They could have given you a little more booty. I'm just saying. They're all twinkish and I love it though. Now then, I haven't had an hour's break in 4 days, so I won't be wasting any more time. I'll have this done inside of 5 minutes. The people here languished at their short-lived existences, but harnessing the knowledge and technology from the drifter returned hope to them. After extensive research, a unique system was created to extend the people's longevity. 2 technologies brought this about: the cloning system and the memory download system. Those who reached their limit from the curse discarded their bodies. Using genes extracted from their old bodies, another could be created in its likeness. In other words, a clone, and it sounds like you have been cloned quite a few times. People's memories are extracted from the brains before death and transferred to the new bodies to continue their lives. So it sounds like, okay, so it is like if you hadn't extracted your memories for like 2 months before you died, you'd have lost that 2 months. It would have been at the last point of extraction, so. And this process has enabled people to live repeatedly beyond the age limit of 23 years. A person who employs this technology to live and die for periods of 23 years is referred to as a reliver. Reliver. Right there. I knew it was coming up. Reliver, a form of life specific to Arpel. Arpel, yeah. That was created to extend people's lives. One of these days I'm going to get used to that. Every time I'm like, wait, what, huh? Stumble over that. They are made by downloading memory data into clones from backups recorded by the original person before death. This technology allows people to revive repeatedly, each life lasting up to 23 years. But it sounds like she chose her old body, like you could do a different body. Like, I guess you could choose to be just like, nah, just let me go, and you would be like reborn as a baby again, type of a thing. Or you can choose to like come back as a clone. But the thing is, I don't know, because it just said, oh, she chose this body again, type of a thing. So it made it sound like you have other choices as opposed to like, I mean, I guess maybe the other choice is just let yourself die. You're like, nah, I'm done. Where you don't want to come back and live longer. You know what I mean? Where you're like, nah, I accept that I'm going to die at 23. So cool, whatevs. Because like, if you believe in like rebirth, like when I die, I'm reincarnated or whatever. Rebirth, reincarnation, that's what I meant. Like, then downloading your memory, putting it in a clone, that's just your memory in a fake body. That's not your soul, which is in reincarnation, what's being reborn. So, like, your soul isn't being put into that. So, like, you couldn't be like, nah, just let me go and I'll be reborn, because your soul would be reborn. And then you would also have your clone. So there'd be, but that reborn soul, that reincarnated soul, isn't really you anymore. It might somewhere deep inside its soul DNA, if you believe in that, have all the memories of all its past lives, but it's no longer you anymore. It's not like you run into a kid and they're like, hey, it's me. You know what I mean? They're not going to remember. So I'm guessing the options are like, I can choose, maybe you can choose upgrades if you got enough money. You're like, yeah, this body's okay and all, but could you like make my boobs bigger and like maybe my stomach smaller? I want a little more of a snatched waist. And could you like, make my hair a little thicker. You know what I mean? Like you could tweak yourself. Or like straight up get a full on like, could you clone me but like make me like 50 times hotter? Like if I got all the best genes? Yeah, that's it. You know what I mean? Like Maybe you could do that. I would assume if you're rich enough, you could totally buy whatever fucking body you wanted, alright? Anyway. This is Lucas. See, and then it's shit like this. Okay, there's a CG of him. Like, he is beautiful. Such is the name that's been adopted. A gentle voice spoke to the children about the nature of life in this country. Teacher, Monsieur Proust. Proust, I'm assuming, yeah. I'm following along and reading the book, but I still don't understand. Yeah, you gotta tell us some more. I see. Very well. Why don't we talk about how relivers are born? We can go over each part one at a time. Okay! Very good. I'm glad to see your enthusiasm. It's wonderful to hear how interested you are, even when we've just begun. It's like, yeah, I have soft boy voice, because he is like soft little angel. Like, look at him. Like a goddamn angel. And tell me that you wouldn't be like, she's beautiful. Because, like, she beautiful, alright? But, like, Mathis also has to have, because he is like adorable voice. His has got to be a little bit scratchier if I can do it a little bit deeper and scratchier. And then Lucas is a little bit softer and a little bit different. We gotta, like, we'll adapt them as we go and blend them into, like, you know, whatever. But anyway. But to me, they sound different. But to you, they probably sound the same. To be fair, all my voices probably sound the same. I don't know. Anyway. In fact, you're all so good that I'm ready to award you all passing marks. Huh? So then, does that mean class is over already? Oh, no you don't. Not taking class seriously is something that bad children do. If I find one, I'll make sure something scary happens. For example, I might tweak some numbers and change your score from 100 to a negative score. Huh? You can't! If that happens, Mother's not going to buy us cake anymore! Upon my return to the orphanage, I came across our usual visiting teacher in the middle of a lesson with the children. Seeing the lively class environment, I couldn't help but admire his ability to motivate the children's desire to learn. I mean, okay, they're kids, but like, I'm just saying, if he showed up to try to teach you shit, wouldn't you be like, I don't know what you're teaching me, but sure. You teach me the most backwoods fucking math that doesn't even actually make any goddamn sense, and I will. I mean, he's not my favorite, but he's beautiful, so like, I'll pay attention. You know? The lecturer was Lucas Proust. Lucas Proust, a traveling teacher who holds classes at various facilities, including the orphanage where the heroine lives. He's a devout follower and believer of God and regularly attends church. Oh God, we're gonna corrupt the church boy. Oh God. All right, well, maybe that's what he's gonna be saying. Okay, never mind. Oh my God. Listen! If we didn't think the trigger warnings were bad, you've got like, here's the nun, and here's Spacey being like, can we bone the nun? Like, the nun is hot. She shouldn't be dressed like that. That's too sexy for a nun. Right? Like, wearing her skin-tight dress. Shoulders just in lace, it looks like. And then you got this beautiful, like, God boy. Like, the Lord. We're going to hell. We are going straight to hell. Anyway. Well, actually, no. We probably rule hell if we're, like, the queen of death over here. So, like, what ups? Listen, Satan. We got some shit for you. Like, I mean... We're gonna corrupt the precious little church boy. Oh, good Lord. He traveled across the country, visiting orphanages and other homes in order to educate children in academics. He was also an avid churchgoer and a devout believer in God. I was careful not to interrupt their lesson. I moved to the corner of the room to put away the groceries I had purchased, then quietly moved on to some daily chores. Come to think of it, we're out of cleaning rags. I guess I can make more using some scraps. It shouldn't make too much noise. Oh no, he's gonna like... Class continued as I got to work. I couldn't seem to keep from listening in on their lesson going on so close by. Okay, you know what? I mean, it's like... Look at... Jesus. It's like, okay. So like, on one hand, he is gorgeous. But on the other hand, like, listen, I like my boys pretty. Alright? I don't want, like, look, I'm all buff and masculine, I got my beard, and I look like I'm a lumberjack, and I'm super muscly. I'm not into that. I like him looking like slightly twinkish and more feminine. Lucas might be a little too feminine, because I'm like... I feel like we're on the nun scale, where, like, how bisexual am I right now? And it's like, but I'm not, but you're, but, like, he's almost too pretty? And, like, we've seen other games where you're like, he is beautiful. But like Lucas is pushing it into like, I am questioning my sexuality right now and you're a guy. Are you though? Because like, I mean, like, he's just so pretty. I want him to be my bestie girlfriend and we go shopping for pretty dresses together. Like, I don't, which is very weird because again, I like him pretty. I like him more feminine, and yet I'm confused now. Excuse me. And now then, where were we? Right. Please turn to the next page. And then he does this and he's gorgeous. I really do like that everyone's a little waifish going on in this game. I'm here for it. There are 4 stages in creating a reliver. First, while the person is still alive, their blood must be analyzed to extract their DNA. I like that we're getting this backstory in the form of him teaching instead of like us just expounding it, like we're learning it, you know? DNA, a genetic blueprint that forms the human body, a necessary component in creating clones through reliver technology. Next, or rather, around the same time, the person's memory data is saved from their brain as a backup file. Memory data, memories that are stored in the brain during a person's life. A person can choose when to back up their memories to be saved in the form of data. When the person's body becomes inactive, a report's made to the Institute, once the proper paperwork is filled and submitted. A cloned body is created from their genes. Their memory data is downloaded to the new body to complete the reliving process. To summarize, one can create a clone of themselves into which their memory data can be transferred upon death in order to prolong their life. So that's how we circumvent death from the curse. This is made possible using special equipment found at the National Research Institute, located in the heart of the country.
But the relivers still die after 23 years, right?
Yes, which is why they need to repeat the same procedure each time prior to their deaths. But here's the sad part is like, what if you were doing it and like, you know, you died at 21 and you hadn't backed yourself up because you were expecting to live another 2 years. You know what I mean? Again, I'm sure you go back. I back up my brain data like right now and then like, okay, maybe I've lived another year. Maybe I go back it up again. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure you can back it up more than once. Lucas smiled and explained to the children that this was because a downloaded memory file could only be used once. But as long as you're careful to follow the proper procedure each time, you can come back to life as many times as you please. Okay. A downloaded memory file could only be used once. So, okay. I back up my memory right now. Cool. I die tomorrow. I've got a clone body. They bring me there. They pop my brain into my clone body. Cool! I'm alive again for another 23 years. I would have to make a new... It's not like you can only download your memory once, but you can only use that once. Which is actually nice, because they can't be like, well, we accidentally made 12 clones of you, so there's 12 of you out there. So then that file's gone, because you used it, and then you'd be like, oh, la 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 la, I've been alive for 20 years, let me go back up my brain. You could back up your brain. So it's not like you can continually, you live 23 years and you backed up yourself. You live another 23 years, it's 46 years, you back up yourself. So it would be like a continuation, like a normal person lives to 80, 90, 100, whatever. It's not like, oh, at 23 I backed up my brain, then the next body I get in has a new 23 years of memory, and when that dies, then... Well, yeah, because you can only use that once. So you'd have to back it up each time. My thought process was going to be like, it's not like you back up yourself once, you live 23 years, you die, then that backup goes backwards 23 years, and it's like those last 23 years never happened. It's just a continual string. Because you can only use backup A at 23 years once. Then you're getting close to 46 technically in your 23-year-old body. So you back yourself up, and that's backup B. You use that one to live another 20, yeah. So it's just yeah, okay. All right, that's exactly what I thought it was, but it was weird with you can only use it once. Like, wait, what? Oh, never mind. That works out in my brain. Anyway, you can come back to life as many times as you please. However, as your teacher, I do hope that this procedure doesn't make you think of life as something simple and unimportant. Look at how fucking sassy he looks.
I know why you said that. Because of all the grown-ups in the city. He keeps saying stuff like it doesn't matter if they die because they could just become a reliver. So even if someone in their family dies, they don't feel sad about it anymore.
Yeah, and that's kind of fucked up. The other children nodded in agreement. Reminded me of what I saw earlier. I mean, it's nice if you think about it, because like think about a family member that you have that's getting old. Or, someone that's encroaching 23, basically, according to this game logic. If you knew that like, oh well, they got a clone and their memory's backed up, when they died, you'd be like, oh, well, that's okay, we can bring them back. As long as you are following the procedures and backing up your shit. Basically, in this, you're treating yourself as like a computer. So Grandma Spacey's gonna teach you kids, make sure you back up your shit. So like, when people are like, oh my god, I have a computer and I lost all my data, and it's like, didn't you make a backup? What? And you're like, sweet, did you not have parents to teach you this? This is me teaching you this if you didn't. Like, it astounds me how many people don't. I mean, I haven't backed up my stuff in a while, so yes, I'd lose stuff. And technically, I lost like 40 hours worth of recordings when my hard drive crashed on my computer 3 or 4 months after buying it. But I do regularly back up my stuff, at least like every week I process all the videos I recorded. They're on a separate drive, only because my computer now is missing a 2 terabyte hard drive. I only have a 1 terabyte solid state now. So like I back it up on a separate drive because my computer doesn't have enough room. I back up all my Sim stuff and everything. Sometimes it's only monthly, but I'll be like, oh, let me plug it in, let me back up all my shit. So if something happens, I have a backup. Technically, you're supposed to back up way more frequently, but like, that's basically what you're doing with this. So like, if I back up my stuff and then 2 days later my computer dies, well, I lost 2 days worth of stuff and games and that sucks and I gotta go back and record it, but it's not like, oh my god, I just lost 10 years worth of work. You know what I mean? You didn't lose 10 years because I got a backup. So it's not as devastating. So, yeah, humans are basically just, computers. I mean, technically your brain is like the most superpowered supercomputer ever. We just don't know how to use it, but like, you know what I mean? So I can kind of understand it, and I can understand well, that's a bad thing, but at the same time, I'm like, is it really though? Because I mean, like, you can't begrudge them not being, like, the guy not being sad his girlfriend died, because he's just going to bring her back in 5 minutes, so like, whatevs. You know what I mean? But to Lucas's point, life still has meaning, even though, and you should still live every life to your life to the fullest, not thinking like, it's okay, I'll just keep reliving. You know what I mean? Because that's not a good way to, like, that's going to cause you psychological damage, Anyway. Monsieur Proust, I do hope the children have been behaving properly during class. It was then that Mother came inside after hanging up the washed laundry. Why, yes, they're behaving very well and taking to their studies with great enthusiasm. That's right. Since Sister Salome has come to see us. How would you feel about joining me in explaining how relivers are seen in society? That is, if you have the time. Technically, we're going to go over on this part because we're going to wait till there's a transition in the scene, obviously. Why, of course. I'm sure having an example will help the children understand the subject more clearly. With that, our visiting teacher spread out a map on the table for all to see. Never mind, this is where the scene ends, so... Okay, it's not really the end of the scene, but it's a transition. Okay. Technically, I would like to stop it at later after we finish this conversation, but this could go on for a few more minutes, and, it's also a little bit late. So, I'm going to stop here, because we're at time anyway, and we'll continue Lucas's explanation about relivers and everything. But I like the way they're doing this, instead of being like, okay, it's just me reading narration data, like, okay, so this, like, you have Lucas here, you're introduced to one of your love interests, so you get a little bit of his personality and whatnot, well, whatever personality I'm infusing him with here, and then, like, his explanation and everything, so you're learning about it as you kind of get to know sort of a love interest, so that's kind of cool. Who's a good, God-fearing boy, and we're going to corrupt the shit out of him, so good times. So far, I really enjoy this game, and I like it, and it's not traumatic. It's a little traumatic. I mean, what she dealt with, but, like, we can handle that. I didn't see those orphans. I have no idea who they are. They're just boy coughing, and it's like, I can just pretend, but as you get to know them and they die, and this is only the beginning, and the game is going to traumatize us greatly. So, I am in a false sense of security. Are you? Yeah. Yeah. Guys, There's gonna come a point where I'm like, okay, it's late and it's in the afternoon, it's evening. We're gonna be we might have to be drinking while we play this, is all I'm saying. But anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.